Welcome back, my friends, to TFT Hyperroll with Autarch, and excuse the chat window on the side, but I'm taking this from part of the live stream, and when you add the chat window in OBS, it's going to record it that way. This was from the live I decided to do Christmas weekend, so it was very sparsely attended, and I'm going to do another one New Year's weekend on Saturday, 3 p.m. So if you get a chance, swing by. That's 3 p.m. Pacific time. I know that's not convenient for a lot of people, but there's people from all over the world who watch this, so there is no time I could pick that could work for everyone. And you will ultimately see the reason I decide to go with this match as one I wanted to show, because I finally got to do something I have been wanting to do all season, and it just happened to happen on a live. Quick note, we have component anvils. Again, do not open them until you know what your build is going to be. Don't rush to open things like this. Now, in all honesty, I was originally thinking I'd do my rapid fire guardians just because I had picked it up, but when I saw insert coin, this is one I really enjoy playing. There's a couple of little issues with it, just because you're going to be going big shot Sentinels, but you want to bring in as many 8 bits as possible because they're going to execute anyone under 10%, so it kind of becomes key to make sure that when you get a Riven and a Caitlyn that you're bringing them in as well, and you're hoping maybe for 8-bit emblems, but I always like Corki with big shot so that I can get those extra big attacks. Now that we know what we're doing, we can open the anvils. I was deciding between the rod and the bow. Chose the bow. Should have chosen the rod, but you don't know until you open the second one, and you don't get to see them both at the same time. As we discussed in yesterday's video, Rageblade is a key item in this build, and even though this is an 8-bit build, I still want to go big shot because my odds of getting an 8-bit emblem are just so small that I don't even worry about it. And I put a Sunfire Cape on Garen because I was kind of a little bit curious as to whether that could execute people if the damage counted back to Garen or not, or if it was just generic damage, and I'm honestly not exactly sure. With this code, you never know how things actually end up working out, but it looks like it's only executing them when it hits them. Then it says, hey, you want a spatula? Because that'll allow you to make an 8-bit. And I can't resist that because now I can go to the 4 8-bits without necessarily committing into a Riven in the front line or an additional Caitlyn in the back. And it could also allow me to turn a champion like Ezreal into an 8-bit who would be very effective at executing people with his ult. So while this is starting slow due to a lack of Rageblade, I'm kind of excited for the future. It is time for the second set of augments. I've turned Kai'Sa into an 8-bit, so we now have 4 8-bit along with Riven in the front line. Nothing exciting here. I just go for the Forge in the hopes of getting something awesome. Nothing great, but Manazane certainly isn't bad for a big shot comp, especially when you have someone like Kai'Sa with a low mana threshold, because the more she casts, the more damage she is going to be able to do. We were able to get to the gold 3-star Corki, although we still do not have a Rageblade for him, which is a key item, as I have said in so many lives when I try to do this build, and for some reason it always eludes me when I'm live, and it's easy to find when I play offline. Now, the one danger with this build is your front line is just not going to be as strong because you're not necessarily going to have as many Sentinels, since you need Riven in front, at least early, in order to tick the 4 8-bits so you can get the additional strength. It is time for an item choice. Easy one: rod, meat, bow equals Rageblade. Key item for Corki, or pretty much anyone on this team. But the front line here is still an issue, at least in what is normally a very strong start build with big shot Sentinels. Because you're not going to the 4 Sentinels right now, you're not getting the protection that you would normally get, and it's easy to get to your backline. It's time for the second set of augments, and this is a little bit tricky and based on the augment that we got. Well, Three's a Crowd doesn't work here pretty much under any circumstances. Normally, I would take Ascension, but because we're looking to execute people, we want the matches to end fast, so You Have My Sword becomes the easy one to take, because we're looking to do a lot of damage, knock them down, and knock them out. So Corky gets the Deathblade. But don't worry, there's always a Spellweaver Annie team to come in and ruin your day, because even when you think you're going to be able to get ahead, she'll knock you back down to earth. And this game is quickly in a little bit of a desperate position with only 4 health left. But everything is about to get a lot more interesting. We 2-starred a Blitz in the NPC round, and we got a Tome of Traits. And yeah, there is an 8-bit emblem. We can now go to the 6 8-bit once we find a Caitlyn. I went ahead and put it on Blitz because Blitz is very strong. We brought in Caitlyn and we now have the 6 8-bit. We're keeping Kai'Sa in for now. However, once that Ezreal goes to 2 stars, he's going to be coming in swapped for Kai'Sa. And now that we're getting a significant amount of damage coming from the 8-bit augment, yeah, we're tearing through teams really quickly. And this is an answer to what are 3 items that I really did not want. I was looking for more power in the backline. I desperately try to find some excuse to use the Adaptive Helm, but nobody's mana is really what I want it to be, so we go ahead, just get the Thieves' Gloves, put them on Riven in the front, so maybe she can do some more damage. I'm also 1 Kai'Sa away from gold, and even though I'd rather have the 2-star Ezreal, if I happen to gold up that Kai'Sa, maybe that's the way to go. And you will be able to see that this execute with enough damage is absolutely sinister. Here we have a rapid fire Guardian team, but again, we just chew through them, including the 3-star Senna. Item choices, I'm really looking for damage items, but we have enough Rage Blades right now. I decide to just go ahead and go Spear of Sojin on Corky because his spell is tied to his damage, which is pretty high with the 8-bit bonus and the Deathblade. And with the full 8-bit and the execute, even Spellweaver Annie is going to have a problem with us. We have an item choice, and I'm just going to take whatever gives me the most damage at this point, and that is the Bloodthirster, even though I don't necessarily think it's necessary. I need 1 more Ezreal to get him to 2 stars, and once he is, we didn't get to the 3-star Kai'Sa, he becomes our 8-bit, and we're going to go ahead and load him up with all the items that Kai'Sa had, plus the Bloodthirster. His casting is going to be fantastic because that's when he throws his ult across the entire screen, and if he can hit a bunch of people, that's going to be pretty good for us. With the Manazane, Ezreal is essentially just blinking everywhere, and when he does his ult, you will see X's here and there, and very quickly this team is out, and we are into the top 4. And our final 2 item choices of the match, we're looking for damage. Giant Slayer or Hand of Justice could work, but I will take Giant Slayer. That goes on Caitlyn. We have also brought in a Lucian in order to tick Rapid Fire for Caitlyn. No big damage here. We can just go ahead and grab a red buff just to add a little bit of speed onto Lucian so he can maybe do his ult more often. We're also flirting with maybe getting a 3-star Caitlyn, which would just be evil at this point. The other team we are facing, a Bruiser Spellweaver Annie style team, has not lost a single match this entire round and is likely thinking that they are going to clean house. But they didn't expect this. Ezreal wipes the team completely. And I have been in their shoes. I have gone into games where I get to the 1v1 and haven't lost, and then run into something that I just have no reasonable chance of ever beating, and after the second loss, they are done. Game over, GG for everyone. Hope you enjoyed this video. live stream tomorrow, 3 p.m. Pacific time. Hope to see you there. And as always, have an absolutely, absolutely awesome day.